Market conditions remaining bearish in a bull market with this overall downtrend still in place. We're seeing a little bit of a pop here. We saw momentum start to pull off of those extreme levels with that move yesterday, and also seeing breadth move back up just a little bit more. We'll look at the buy-sell ratio and also sentiment indicator, which is still in that upper range. That doesn't move very quickly. Buy-sell ratio sitting right here. We're curling back just a little bit now, starting to come back together. Once those start to get that extreme, as we talked about, they just don't last. And so we're seeing buy-sell ratio start to tick back up a little bit, back up to 0.02. Remember that typical real long or nasty downturns can get all the way down to that 0.10. So we entered into that range for a day or two and moving back up again. Now we'll see if this turns out to just be counter trend move back higher. We're seeing sentiment on S&P 500 curling back up again. We were in that oversold area at 2.87, and that's just a range where we could certainly see some support start to come back into the market. We're seeing volatility, which should look just like this, should be the opposite of what S&P 500 is showing. We're also seeing NASDAQ on this sentiment chart just really low. It just has really gotten pummeled here in this last week. We're also seeing bonds, which are in this lower range, looking for a rally in bonds and also shorter term notes. Gold we're seeing kind of topping out and rolling back down again, and then also light sweet crude, which is also starting to curl back down again. That's on the sentiment tab right here. Just a quick way to be able to glance to look to see if you're at the edges, if you're at an extreme on major markets, volatility, bonds, and some of the other major commodities that we talk about. S&P 500. Let's look at this pattern here. We've been talking about this support area, and we've now come off of this extreme, and now working potentially on some support right here. At least we've had one day now of a little bit of confirmation back up, things holding. S&P 500 was up just about 1% yesterday, and we did see a little bit more strength in the Dow. If we look at DIA, which are the diamond ETFs, you can see it actually had a short-term trend shift back to up here as well. So keep an eye on Dow, keep an eye on these markets right here. These are constructively bullish price patterns that we're seeing overall. We are seeing a little bit of a move higher here in sectors, which we've had now utilities move back up to that buy area. We'll talk about that just for a few more minutes here today. We've got 3 in the holds, and so we've got 1 in this uptrend, but look at these energy, financial, consumer goods, and the rest are still in downtrends. We'll see if we get any strength here as well. I'm going to come back to that utility discussion. I want to go over commodities real quick here. We had a little bit of a pullback in gold off of these upper levels, but we're still in the momentum zone, which is this upper range here. And so watching to see if gold can get some support. So this is not anything to be overly concerned with, as all retracement patterns typically in the momentum zone will pull back at some point and have some type of a consolidation phase. USO dealing with the same thing here, relatively flat, but finding searching for support at this level currently on USO. Going back to the sectors tab here, if we go to sectors and ETFs and see that leading sector, one of the other things to look at is go to the sector scan right here. And one thing you can see starting to happen is this buy-sell ratio in utilities. So we're seeing utilities have this spike back higher, which was also confirmed, or at least it kind of gave us that indication on that sector's location to take a closer look. So now we can take a closer look at these 38 stocks that are in that group and look to see which ones may be an opportunity. The top one on the list here, PAM, which has a real solid move. It's not quite in that upper momentum zone, but you can see it's starting to turn that corner. It might even be on the 1-year time frame if we pull in that 1 year. Nothing too exciting, but it is a nice looking confirmation. You're seeing other stocks that are in that upper range. So you're seeing utilities being the leader. So from there, you'd want to go in and take a look at some of those stocks. Obviously, their ranks are a little bit lower because they have been lagging, but we may see some of those start to become a defensive play. Utilities are typically defensive, and we may see markets shifting over to that. Let's take a look at the muscle stocks group. We've got GigaCloud, which is leading the group. This has been a real high flyer, at least in this last trend from December up, and has had a retracement, is now trying to find some footing again, and could be an interesting location for that. Also, ADV, which is a business information sector, nice confirmation bar, not huge in decent volume on that day, but support inside that momentum zone and $4 or $5 stock. Nice looking consolidation pattern here, and also finding some support at that recent resistance range or close to it. From here, resistance back to support with confirmation. So interesting stock to look at. Some interesting things to watch for today in the markets, as well as a handful of stocks. And that'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.